What's going on, guys? Zombie Dad here. After, I guess, almost a year, longer than a year of not making any content, I decided it's time to kind of get back into it and show off what I've been doing for a little while. My last deck profiles I did forever ago were Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, I've now kind of shifted into the Digimon TCG, so that's kind of what I wanted to highlight today for you guys. My deck today is actually one that I didn't know if I'd like, but the more I play it, the more I've found that I'm enjoying it, and that is a Tyrannomon deck. There's other spice in it than just the Tyrannomon cards, but it's probably the most fun deck I have right now, and the one I've enjoyed playing the absolute most. So, I mean, it's good to be back. I'm not going to keep this intro going. We're going to go ahead and just dive right into the deck profile. So, to start with our eggs, we are playing 4 copies of BT11 Tyrannomon and 1 copy of BT6 Pinamon. We'll just set this off to the side here. So these cards I think, in my mind, they're just the best eggs you can play. The point of the deck is you're trying to spam out tamers. That's what the deck relies on. That's kind of what they want, to have on the field for their effects to trigger, and they get to play them for free. A lot of the cards do, which I'll go over later. So Tyrannomon, when you play a green tamer, the inheritable is you get to draw a card. I've had games where with this and some other cards we'll go over, I play a tamer and I'm drawing 3 cards or more, which I think is just crazy to get that much advantage off of 1 card. The Pinamon, it doesn't come up as often, but if you attack an opponent's Digimon, you also get to draw a card. When you end up climbing to the level 6s that we'll go over in a little bit, like Rust Tyrannomon, your goal is to attack into your opponent's Digimon. So with Pinamon underneath them, you're swinging into a Digimon, you get to draw a card off of that, which is just really, I think it's just really useful. So I mean, that's 5 eggs. I've thought about cutting this because you don't necessarily need 5, but I have had grindy games where I've gone through all 5 of them. So for now, I'm going to keep the 5, and I'm not going to cut it yet. So we'll throw those up there. Onto the level 3s. Another new card out of BT11. We are playing the BT11 Green Agumon. On play, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, and you get to add a tamer to your hand. The rest go to the bottom. He's just generically good. Like I said, you're trying to play as many tamers as you can. The inheritable is while you have a tamer in play, the Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP. That actually does come up a lot. I have found that even with the new Rust Tyrannomon being printed at 13K, whereas the old one was 11K, the plus 2,000 does come in handy because, I've played against like Examon. Well, he's 15K naturally. So having that buff to end up, being able to attack into him if they force you to attack at the beginning of their turn, it's really nice. So like Black War Greymon X is 13. This just gives you that extra 2K to swing through him if you have to, which is really good. These are a little more tech options than they are necessary, but I'm playing 2 copies of Tyrannomon from EX2 and 2 copies of Angoramon from BT10. So the Tyrannomon, when you play a green tamer, you gain a memory. And I think I said it a minute ago, you get to play a lot of tamers for free off of Digivolution effects and things like that. So, playing one off of an effect and then gaining a memory back on top of that is just really good. And then Angoramon, it's just, when you play a green tamer, you get a draw card. So, it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. A lot of times I have this kind of a setup. You play a green tamer, you draw 2 cards, which is just, the advantage you generate is just insane. I've had it where I've had, 15 to 18 cards in my hand regularly, which just seems absurd. But you always have your pieces to continue facilitating the plays that you're facilitating. And then the last level 3 we play is the BT7 Betamon. So this card, he's one of my favorite plays to go to, especially if you're going second and your opponent gives you the 3 memory to work with. On play, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. You add a green level 4 Digimon card or a green Tamer to your hand and put the rest at the bottom. So he's a piece that searches. This deck has a lot of pieces that search. So it's just, I mean, really good in the sense that you are constantly digging for pieces that you need. And I'll show you the card I play in tandem with the Betamon. But I mean, I'll Digivolve him in Raising if I have to. But for the most part, you want to hard play him to grab either the level 4 you're missing or a green Tamer to start facilitating your other plays. And that is actually it for our level 3s. So let's move on to the 4s here. So the first level 4 to talk about is the only non-Tyranno level 4 I'm playing, and that is the new BT11 Ninjamon. I think he's really good. His inheritable is when you play a Tamer, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So like I was saying before with like Rust Tyrannomon, the goal is to attack through your opponent's stuff. So having him in a stack somewhere on the field allows you to play a Tamer, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then your guys can attack into it, which is ultimately, the play you want to make. The next level 4 is 3 copies of BT11 Tyrannomon. This new Tyrannomon I think is really good. He's kind of like the red EX1 Tyrannomon that counted as red and green and played a Taiga for free. This one, when you Digivolve or on play, you just get to play 1 Tamer card with a cost of 3 or less for free. So he's not locked into Taiga, which is really good. And then, I mean, he's still a Tyrannomon, and he's both colors, which I think is awesome. His inheritable is while you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon gets plus 2k. So a lot of times what you'll see in my stacks, the way I try to make them work, is I do Agumon into Tyrannomon, and then as long as I have a Tamer in play, whatever is over this stack gets plus 4k DP guaranteed. And I mean, like I was saying earlier, that's just huge in some of the matchups you see. Like, you want that buff so that you can swing over and just beat down everything that your opponent thinks they have to beat you. And then I think arguably the most important level 4 I'm playing is BT2 Tyrannomon. This is the one I was talking about that I play in tandem with the Betamon. So Betamon lets you search for a level 4 green or a Tamer. When you Digivolve into a Tyrannomon, it lets you search for a level 5 Digimon and a green Tamer. So it's any level 5, which does come up when we get to the level 5s. I'll talk about that too. But then you also get to grab the green Tamer. Whereas Betamon is one or the other, Tyrannomon grabs both. They both don't have inheritables, which makes them, just a little bit weaker than they probably could be. But I still think the search that you get off of the 2 is, it's just irreplaceable. The ability to dig for all your pieces is just really nice. And that's it for the level 4s. Moving on to the level 5s, the 2 non-Tyranno cards I'm playing are 1 copy of Pangeamon and 2 copies of Mamemon. So back to the Tyrannomon search. It grabs any level 5. Mamemon is black, but Tyrannomon can grab him, and he can Digivolve over a green. So he works really well for the deck. On play and when Digivolving, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, and you get to play 1 Tamer with the cost of 4 or less among them for free. Then you get to put the remaining 4 cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. I did learn with that, the ruling is they all have to go to one or the other. You can't put 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. It's all 4 on top or all 4 on bottom. And the reason that's important is because you can stack it for one of the level 6s I'll go over here in just a minute. So then you get the ability to, kind of set up the deck to work the way you want it to work. And then his inheritable is when you play another Digimon by an effect, you can give one of your Digimon blocker until the end of your opponent's turn. One of my favorite things to do with this is when you play a Digimon by an effect, if I have a Rust Tyrannomon out with a Metal Tyrannomon underneath it, which I guess I should go over that really quick. I've got 2 Master Tyrannomons and 4 Metal Tyrannomons. So if I have a level 6, especially a Rust Tyrannomon with this card underneath it, this card's inheritable is all turns. If it deletes a Digimon in battle and survives, you get to trash the top card of your opponent's security. So giving something blocker with this inheritable, with this underneath it, allows you to trash your opponent's security on their turn if you block them and survive the battle, which is really cool. And then Pangeamon, I kind of got off track here, sorry about that. But Pangeamon, when Digivolving, you just get to play a green or blue tamer with a cost of 4 or less from your hand for free. So these 2 level 5s are insane because they play tamers, which is really good. He's black and he's green, but both of your level 6s can go over each of them, which is really good. His inheritable is the same as Mamemon's, but instead of giving something blocker when it's played by an effect, it gives something rush. So you could play a card by an effect. This inheritable will give it rush. It can attack the same turn that it's played, which is just really good. I'm only playing 2 copies of Master Tyrannomon. He's solid, but he's not the most important piece, I don't think. His effect just says all of your Tyrannomon get Sec +1, which is really good because it's all of them, so it even counts himself. So if he's just on the field, he's going to swing for 2 checks. And then his inheritable is just security attack +1. So whatever he's underneath will have security attack +1 either way. But I mean, he's just utility. He's good, but he's not the best, I don't think. The best level 5 we play for sure is the Metal Tyrannomon. It's new out of BT11. When Digivolving and on play, for each green or black tamer you have in play, you get to suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then one of those suspended Digimon can't unsuspend during the next unsuspend phase your opponent has. So a lot of times, you'll Digivolve into him, and I'll already have 3 or 4 tamers on the field. Well, then he's going to suspend up to 4 guys, and I can lock the most problematic one down during my opponent's unsuspend phase. I have seen where that backfires a little bit because there are effects that allow you to unsuspend and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's really good. And then, as I mentioned, his inheritable is all turns once per turn. When this Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. So when you're being really aggressive and attacking, as long as you're swinging into guys that your opponent has in their control, his inheritable is going to let you trash at least 1 security. And then, like I said, with the Mamemon, if you give something blocker and he's underneath it, you can block and survive, and then he's going to allow you to still trash the security on your opponent's turn, which I have seen, it flusters people. But it's probably my favorite thing to do. And so that is it for the level 5s. I tried to just find a balance with all of them and use the effects that I have to my advantage. So that's just kind of why I picked what I did. So then we're on to the level 6s. I'm playing 3 Gigimon and 3 Rust Tyrannomon. I mean, I could talk for hours about both of these cards because they're both just insane to me. They both Digivolve over green and black, so they can go over any of my level 5s, which is really good. The Gigimon is probably my favorite card out of BT11. I absolutely love this artwork. I absolutely love his effect. Like he's very good boss monster that's not supposed to be this deck's boss monster. So when Digivolving, you get to reveal 3 cards from your deck. And then you get to play a tamer among them for free, and then the rest go, to the top or bottom in any order. So that kind of goes, with the Mamemon effect I was talking about, is you reveal 5, play a tamer, stack the rest of them. Well, then if you can Digivolve into a Gigimon, you're revealing 3 of the 4 you put back, and if you stack them the right way, you get to play another tamer, which is really nice. But where Gigimon really shines is his when attacking effect, in my opinion. So when he attacks, for each green or black tamer you have in play, you get to reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. So that's really good in the sense that he reveals 3 after Mamemon reveals 5, and then you just get to keep stacking the dudes you want back on top if you want them, or you can bottom deck them if they're not going to be any good. But when he attacks, if I have 3 tamers on the field, he's going to reveal 3 more cards, and then you get to play any number of Digimon you reveal whose play costs add up to 10 or less. And so he's just, he just lets you swarm the field with as many guys as you can when he attacks, which is really good. And then, like I said, with the inheritables of these two, at that point, something's getting blocker or something's getting rush. And there have been numerous times I'll just drop one of these because he's 8. I can't play anything else. I'll just drop one of these off of a Digimon, lock down my opponent's entire field, then give him rush or give Russ Tyrannomon blocker with one of these two. And it's just when the deck decides that it's going to pop off, like it's insane what it can do. It does take some setup, but once you get there, it's really good. And like I said, I absolutely just love Digimon. Russ Tyrannomon, I mean, he's the boss of the Tyrannomon line. He's actually really cool because when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into him, you reduce his cost by 1 for each green or black tamer you have in play. I've had several games in testing where I have 6 tamers, so he Digivolves for free, which is it's just insane to get to a level 6 for free. And then his all turns effect is when he deletes an opponent's Digimon in battle, you get to unsuspend him. So a lot of times if he's got Metal Tyrannomon underneath him, you're going to swing with him into a guy, delete the guy, trash the top card of security, then unsuspend him and he can attack again. The Metal Tyranno is only once per turn, so he won't continue to just trash security. But the fact that you can clear multiple bodies is insanely good. And he's actually exceptionally good when we get to a tamer we're going to talk about next. But that's it for the level 6s. I tried the old Russ Tyrannomon from BT2 or whatever that lets you attack unsuspended guys. Him being at 11k and not being able to Digivolve over a black made him not near as strong in my opinion. So I went ahead and cut him from the deck. So now we're on to tamers. I play 3 BT2 Taiga. I play 4 BT11 Taiga. I play 2 Mimis, and I play 2 Kins. I know most people are going to look at this and just be like, holy cow, that's a ton of tamers. But there's a reason for all of them, and I've adjusted these ratios probably 30 times before I landed on this. So this Taiga, you can play him for free off the Tyrannomon, the level 4, which is really nice. All of these are 4 or lower, so they can all be played off Panjamon, Mamemon, Gigimon. So like I can just drop them all, which is really nice. But this Taiga gives all of your Tyrannomons piercing, and that includes the level 4 to the level 6. It just has to have Tyrannomon in its name, which is really good. And then when one of your Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Tyrannomon in its name, you can suspend this version of Taiga to reduce the Digivolution cost by 1. So a lot of times if I only have, 2 Taigas and a Mimi or whatever on the field, and I'm trying to go into Russ Tyrannomon, he'll reduce his own cost by 3, and then I can suspend the 2 Taigas I have to reduce him down to 0 either way. And then that's where I was saying, his effect to trash security and unsuspend and attack multiple times is really good because this Taiga will give him piercing. So he's going to swing into a guy, delete it, trash the security, pierce for a check, unsuspend, swing into another guy, security check again because he's got piercing. You can't win the game with piercing, which is, I wish you could because that's what this deck does a lot of. But him by himself can clear up to 3 security just as soon as he hits the field, which is just crazy. So new Taiga from BT11. This card, I love this card. The artwork on this is amazing. It's got Gigimon in it, who I just said was one of my favorite cards in the set, if not my favorite card in the set. His Your Turn effect is all of your Digimon get plus 1,000. So him on the field in tandem with like the Agumon and Tyrannomon inheritables. I've had Russ Tyrannomon swing at somebody at over 20,000 DP before. Like he can get very, very large. So it's exciting to see because there's not a lot in the game that can stop him once he starts swinging. And then this Taiga, he does kind of the same thing as this one with the Digivolution reduction. Cost reduction, sorry. But he says when one of your green Digimon would Digivolve into a level 5 or higher, you can suspend him to reduce the cost by 1. So he's a little more generic, whereas this one specifies a Tyrannomon in its name. This Taiga is any green level 5 or higher, which I just think is really good. because it's a green Digimon, would Digivolve. So you can even suspend him to Digivolve into your Mamemon for cheaper, as long as he's going over a green and all the level 4s are green. So he can do that. I'd assume by now most people know what Mimi does. She's just a memory setter. And then if you have a level 5 or higher green Digimon, you can suspend her. You can suspend her to either hatch an egg if you don't have one, or promote somebody up even if you had just hatched them this turn. I've had numerous games where I have 2 of them on the field, so I've already got a decent board. I'll suspend one to hatch an egg, build a little stack, suspend the other one to force it up so that it can attack and potentially push lethal on my opponent. She's just a really good utility card, and I was never going to play this deck without Mimi because she's just, I think, one of the best green tamers. Ken, he's kind of a new addition. I didn't know how I felt about this. He's also a memory setter, so I actually play 4 memory setters, which increases my chances of starting at 3 memory and then being able to reduce costs and gain memory back with inheritables and things like that. It makes 3 memory a really good place to start. And then his effect is when one of your green Digimon deletes an opponent's Digimon by battle and survives, you can suspend him to gain a memory. So he just works in tandem with everything you're trying to do. You're trying to swing into your opponent's stuff. When you do, you get to suspend him and you just gain a free memory back, which is just, it's just really nice. A lot of times you don't have to do that effect, but it comes up and it can be useful. And so, that's it for the tamer lineup. It is a lot of tamers, but like I said, a lot of the cards are searching for them, and a lot of the cards can spit them out for free, which is really good. And then the last 2 cards in the deck I'm playing is 2 copies of Buster Dive. When this card was revealed, I thought it was going to be good, and then I've kind of played around with my ratios, and I've landed on 2, and let me tell you, this card is insane. It's a pseudo blitz, which is really nice. Because you can pass memory over and it still allows one of your Digimon to attack your opponent's Digimon. So it costs 4, but if you have a green tamer on the field, when you use it, it reduces it by 1, so it only costs 3. And then it gives one of your Digimon plus 5,000 DP, and it gains Rush for the turn. Then one of your Digimon may attack your opponent's Digimon. So with all the inheritables and stuff you're playing, like Ninjamon, the Metal Tyrannomon's Digivolving effect or on-play effect, you're suspending a lot of guys. And so this comes in really good because the dudes are already suspended, so you can play this, give one of your guys plus 5,000. It can then attack, and if it's a Tyrannomon, with the BT2 Taiga, it's going to pierce and do a security check anyway. And if you have a stack with Metal Tyrannomon, it's going to trash a security and then pierce for a check anyway. And that just, to me, that's just an insane amount of value to potentially clear 2 security, after you've passed turn because of this card, and you've made your guy, he's huge. There's not a lot that's going to stop it. So a lot of times when there's like problematic monsters, like Black War Greymon X, or even some of those decks that get into like the big Omnimon bodies, or Examon being 15k. I use Examon and Black War Greymon X as an example because those are the decks that my buddy plays the most, so we bounce back and forth a lot. But being able to suspend an Examon or a Black War Greymon X and then drop this to just have one of your guys force his way through it, it's just kind of crazy what you can do with a card like this. And it only costing 3 when you have a tamer does make it, I think, a little bit better. Security effect, it just adds to your hand. So it's not the best place to see it, but it gets it to your hand, so then you can potentially use it on your next turn or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of it. Hopefully I covered everything, to a place where you guys can understand. Sorry that this video was over 20 minutes long. I was trying to go quick, but I wanted to make sure I got my explanations in. I really like Tyrannomon. I didn't know if I would, but I just like the way it plays. It's very, very much my style, and I like the artwork that they use and the different cards and stuff. So I'm going to keep playing it moving forward. As of now, though, this is my build, and I probably won't tweak it too much just because I put so much thought and time into it already. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment. I'm open to suggestions. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys want to. I'd really appreciate it. I'm still kind of starting out, but I'm going to do my best to start putting regular content up when I can. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy your day. See ya.